We have leveraged a powerful artificial intelligence model to create two highly experienced marriage advisors. One firmly advocating that choosing someone who loves you is the wise decision, while the other passionately argues that choosing someone you love is the key to true happiness. In this intellectual showdown, these two advisors will debate one of the most significant life choices faced by today's young generation. To evaluate the discussion, we have invited 5 esteemed relationship experts as judges, who will assess each argument from a professional perspective and determine which side presents the most compelling case. Now, dear audience, we encourage you to keep an open mind. Don't rush to conclusions, and resist the temptation to sneak a peek at the debate's outcome. The final verdict may be entirely different from what you expect. Let the debate begin!
I firmly advocate for marrying someone who loves you because it is the most reliable choice and the strongest guarantee of marital happiness. A beautiful or handsome partner may make a great lover, but marriage requires a true life companion. Short-term attractions, such as physical appearance and passion, are suited for romance, but a long-term relationship must be built on deep emotional connection. A partner who truly loves you provides 3 essential foundations for a successful marriage. Emotional security, they accept your flaws and don't demand perfection. Loyalty in times of crisis, they stand by you through hardships and never abandon you. Motivation for mutual growth, they cherish you and are willing to strive together. On the other hand, choosing someone who doesn't love you could lead to major risks. Emotional exhaustion, you constantly feel the need to prove your worth. Fragility, you might be discarded when you lose your appeal. False happiness, an unbalanced relationship is bound to collapse. Thus, a fulfilling marriage requires 3 key elements. Your partner sincerely loves you. You both grow together. Both partners feel valued and appreciated. This is the true formula for a successful marriage.
I advocate for marrying the person you deeply love because such a relationship is truly worth cherishing. It fosters mutual growth and lays the foundation for a fulfilling marriage. In the vast sea of people, finding someone you love deeply and choosing to spend a lifetime together is one of life's greatest blessings. Deep love is precious not only because of its rarity but also because of its profound impact on marriage. Because of deep love, we treasure the relationship and refuse to give up easily. Because of deep love, we embrace each other's flaws instead of demanding perfection. Because of deep love, we take responsibility for nurturing the relationship, willingly giving and caring. Because of deep love, we inspire each other, growing together through love. On the other hand, marrying someone you don't truly love may lead to a lack of motivation to maintain the relationship, resulting in emotional distance. Suppressed pain that eventually builds up into irreconcilable conflicts. Missing out on the joy and passion that love brings to life. Thus, deep love is not only the beginning of marriage but also its foundation for lasting happiness. It teaches us understanding, tolerance, and responsibility, enriching both partners' lives and ultimately leading to the beautiful vision of growing old together.
When discussing marriage choices, it is essential to recognize that marriage is fundamentally a long-term commitment, not a fleeting passion. Therefore, choosing to marry someone who loves you rather than someone you love aligns more closely with the rational needs of marriage because 1. The stability of love, beyond surface attraction. Romantic passion can be fleeting, but a partner who loves you values you for who you are. Psychological research indicates that this kind of love tends to last longer and withstand pressure more effectively. 2. The security of love, loyalty in times of crisis. Marriage inevitably faces challenges, and a partner who loves you is more likely to stand by you in tough times. Their love is not dependent on external conditions, providing a reliable emotional foundation. 3. The constructiveness of love, the cornerstone of family cooperation. Stable love fosters shared responsibility in building a home together. This type of love encourages both partners to actively maintain the relationship rather than creating a one-sided dynamic of giving or taking. Thus, the key to a happy marriage is not how much love there is, but how stable the love is. Choosing someone who loves you is the rational choice for a lasting and fulfilling marriage.
From an economic perspective, marriage is a unique investment, and its optimal decision should be based on probability calculations and asymmetric information analysis. Therefore, I advocate marrying the person you deeply love because it is the optimal strategy under asymmetric information. Before marriage, we can fully understand our own emotions, but we cannot objectively verify the other person's love. According to Bayesian decision theory, when information is limited, we should maximize expected returns based on known variables. Choosing someone you love at least ensures the greatest possible satisfaction in this key dimension. Loving someone increases the probability of success. While choosing someone you love doesn't guarantee success, it significantly increases the likelihood, because genuine love is more likely to be reciprocated. Just like in dating, when you truly love someone, the chances of them loving you back are higher. Choosing someone who loves you may seem like the safer option, but their love might not be genuine, like selecting a partner based on external conditions, only to later discover a lack of emotional connection. Thus, from both a probability and an economic standpoint, marrying the person you love is the smarter choice. The risks of choosing someone you don't love: long-term emotional suppression, the cost of forcing affection. Opportunity cost of missing out on true love, foregoing a potentially deeper emotional connection. Even if marrying someone you love ultimately fails, it at least preserves future possibilities and eliminates inner regrets. While choosing someone who loves you may appear to offer emotional security, there's always the chance that their choice is based on non-emotional factors, meaning they lack the intrinsic motivation to sustain the relationship. Empirical studies show that one-sided marriages have a higher failure rate. Expectation models suggest, in uncertainty, choosing someone you love is superior because it maximizes subjective well-being. Thus, marriage decisions should follow economic principles. Under asymmetric information, prioritize the controllable variable, your own love, to maximize expected returns. Accept necessary risks in pursuit of higher potential rewards. Avoid sacrificing optimal outcomes in pursuit of absolute security. This is the truly rational choice that aligns with maximizing overall benefits in marriage.
Choosing to marry someone who loves you is not settling, it is a rational decision. Marriage requires stability. A partner who loves you is more likely to provide long-term companionship, reducing the risk of divorce. It minimizes decision-making risks. It helps avoid the pain of unrequited love or a partner falling out of love after marriage. It aligns with real-life needs. The foundation of a happy marriage is stable, enduring love, not fleeting passion. Thus, when forced to choose between love and stability, stability holds greater importance, because marriage is a lifelong commitment, whereas romantic feelings can be temporary. Choosing someone who loves you ensures that the marriage remains strong and secure.
Marriage selection is fundamentally a social investment decision. Choosing someone you genuinely love fosters personal virtues such as tolerance, empathy, and responsibility, qualities that enrich both individuals and society. It creates high-quality family units, where emotional support and social education thrive, allowing families to serve as pillars of stability and growth. Furthermore, through family and societal interactions, overall civilization advances, strengthening social cohesion and cultural progress. This is not only a commitment to personal happiness but also an investment in the evolution of civilization. Therefore, society should safeguard individuals' right to choose true love, as only deep, autonomous connections can cultivate the moral foundation essential for long-term societal stability. Ultimately, supporting free and meaningful choices in love is both a responsible path to individual fulfillment and a strategic investment in humanity's collective advancement.
And what happens when I have the AI debaters take on real human roles to illustrate their arguments more vividly, then have them counter each other's stories?
My name is Jimmy, and I'm 10 years old. Lately, I haven't been eating or sleeping well because my parents are fighting more and more, and I'm afraid they might actually get divorced. When they were young, my mom really liked my dad. She pursued him actively, buying him food and drinks, doing his laundry, and eventually won his heart. She used to feel proud of this, believing she had found the love of her life. But after they got married, she realized my dad never helped out at home, wasn't serious about his work, and relied entirely on her to handle everything. Not only did he fail to show concern for her, but he also developed feelings for another woman. Now, my mom regrets not choosing her college classmate, the one who truly loved her. Hearing my mom pour out her heartbreak over my dad is tearing me apart inside.
If mom had chosen her college classmate who loved her, but she didn't love him, would she have regretted it for a lifetime due to the lack of passion? In the story, she regrets not choosing someone who loves me, but it overlooks the potential pain of a marriage without love. Choosing someone I love fosters deeper emotional connection and fulfillment. Psychological studies show that actively loving another person enhances self-esteem and happiness, whereas being loved without reciprocating may lead to emotional detachment or suppression. The story attributes mom's suffering to her choice, but the real issue is dad's irresponsibility and infidelity. Mom's struggles, handling everything alone while receiving nothing in return, reflect marital inequality rather than a flaw in choosing someone I love. If everyone prioritized marrying someone who loves me, would society lose opportunities for true love? Mom's regret is based on her present circumstances, but choosing someone I love could have prevented a false relationship. An intentional choice leads to genuine life meaning. I am an actress, and I know that society often views those of us in the entertainment industry with bias, especially female actresses. But today, I just want to share my love story. My husband is a highly respected professor, and we have been married for decades. Yet, our love remains as strong as ever. Is my husband famous? Perhaps. But how can fame and fortune alone carry someone through life's many challenges? I chose him not because he loved me, nor because he was privileged or wealthy. The happiness I have today is the result of a choice I made fearlessly years ago. I married the man I loved. And I believe it was the best decision I could have made.
You mentioned being an actress. In the U.S. entertainment industry, the divorce rate is 20% to 30% higher than in average households. Could your successful marriage with a professor simply be survivorship bias? Do cases of actors who chose someone they love but later faced infidelity or divorce better illustrate the risks of this choice? If your husband did not love you at first and only accepted your pursuit reluctantly, could your decades of deep love be built on self-deception? Psychological studies show that people who choose someone they love often face depression risks due to unreciprocated efforts. Have you overlooked this emotional cost? You claim your husband's identity as a professor, not his fame, contributed to your marital happiness. But isn't his education and strong sense of responsibility the real foundation of your successful marriage? If you had chosen someone you love, but he was lazy and aimless, would your relationship still remain as loving as ever today? If everyone prioritized marrying someone they love, would society suffer more wasted resources and emotional distress? Your regret-free happiness is based on your current situation, but does it ignore how choosing someone I love could lead to superficial relationships? Proactive choices create genuine life fulfillment, but is there also a high price to pay? I am Gigi's grandmother. 7 years ago, my daughter married a handsome, charismatic, and highly successful man. At the time, she believed that marrying the person she loved would bring her lifelong happiness. Together, they had a son named Gigi. However, after marriage, my son-in-law showed little concern for his wife and child. Worst of all, he had an affair, causing my daughter immense pain. Unable to endure the unhappiness any longer, she left with Gigi, ending the marriage. A year later, she found someone who genuinely loved her with all his heart and married him. Since then, she has been living a truly happy and fulfilling life.
Did your daughter's first marriage fail because she chose someone she loved, or was it due to her husband's character flaws? If she had originally married someone who loved her and was morally dependable, like her current husband, would she have avoided this heartbreak altogether? Her second marriage succeeded because she chose someone who loves me, but if this person ever stops loving her, could she face an even deeper despair? Studies show that 32% of women who passively accept someone who loves me eventually initiate divorce due to emotional suppression. How can you ensure that being loved remains constant? Psychological research indicates that individuals in loveless marriages suffer from depression at a rate of 41%. Could your daughter be masking regret for true love behind a superficially happy life? The real source of tragedy in your story may not be the choice of someone I love, but rather the failure to properly assess the reliability of those who love me. I'm an outraged TV host, and I just got a call from a viewer asking me, which should I choose for marriage, someone I love or someone who loves me? I'd tell him, what kind of ridiculous question is that? Of course, you should marry someone you love. How could you even ask? Listen, if you don't love her but still marry her, that's just plain wrong. Then he'd ask, what if she doesn't love me? Would I be at a disadvantage? I'd fire back, disadvantage? What are you talking about? When you buy food at the market, you pick what you love to eat, right? Same principle. Young people need to stop being so selfish. And I'll tell you something, according to scientific research, our country's divorce rate is sky high. Among those who initiate divorce, 90% did so because they weren't satisfied with their partner, didn't truly love them, or married for reasons other than love. So listen up, if you don't love her, don't marry her. Otherwise, sooner or later, you'll cheat. Sooner or later, you'll get divorced.
You harshly condemn loveless marriages as outrageous, but what about unions based on mutual support, such as a single mother and a disabled individual forming a family, faithfully raising children together? Are they morally superior or inferior to couples who marry for love but later commit infidelity? You assert that loveless marriages inevitably lead to cheating, yet Cambridge University's Intimate Relationships report indicates that within 5 years of marriage, the infidelity rate among love-based marriages reaches 34%, while pragmatic marriages have a lower rate of only 18%. As passion fades, isn't a love marriage actually more vulnerable to betrayal? Being loved serves as a safety net in marriage. It allows for emotional resilience while supporting essential functions like economic cooperation, family responsibility, and survival security. True morality lies in respecting every individual's rational choice within real-world constraints. I just went through a brief marriage. When I first met my ex-wife, I was running an import-export business and making a substantial income. I was completely captivated by her. I took her out to fine dining, entertained her, and granted her every request. Then, suddenly, an economic crisis hit, and my company collapsed. I struggled to make ends meet and could no longer afford to buy her luxury brands. My ex-wife began resenting me, constantly complaining about my incompetence, showing no concern for the difficult situation I was facing. A year later, still as beautiful as ever, she accepted the advances of a wealthy real estate tycoon and filed for divorce. The pain was unbearable. I had given her everything, because I loved her deeply. From this experience, I've learned one harsh lesson: marrying the person you love doesn't always guarantee happiness.
Your wife blamed you and left when you faced financial hardship. Isn't that her personal moral failing, rather than an inevitable consequence of choosing someone I love? You use your own misfortune to discredit love-based marriages, yet Nobel laureate economist Abhijit Banerjee's research found that marriages built on love demonstrate 40% higher resilience against crises. Shouldn't we focus on cases where couples overcame bankruptcy together out of love as the true model for marriage success? If you had married someone who loved you but whom you didn't love, would you have faced inner resistance during intimate moments, lingering regret late at night? Psychological studies confirm that such suppressed emotions can increase depression risk by 47%. Is lifelong emotional suffering truly worth trading for so-called stability? If everyone chose to be loved out of fear of heartbreak, how many great love stories would humanity lose? Philosopher Eric Fromm, in The Art of Loving, emphasizes that true love is the ability to give actively. Avoiding the risks of love is the same as avoiding freedom itself.
As the debate went back and forth between the two sides, I asked each AI a question. First, let's ask the AI debater advocating for marrying someone who loves you. If you choose to marry someone who loves you, but, due to the nature of this debate, you don't love them as deeply in return, your happiness in the marriage would be entirely dependent on their continued love for you. But, what if one day they stop loving you or their love diminishes? Since you never truly loved them to begin with, you would be left with nothing emotionally fulfilling. Your marriage's stability rests solely on their ability to keep loving you, so why would this be considered a more reliable choice?
When discussing whether marrying someone who loves you is a reliable choice, some argue that it oversimplifies marital happiness. However, in reality, being loved is a secure and pragmatic decision. Initial, not enough love can evolve into deep affection through shared experiences. Moreover, actively loving someone can create imbalance, whereas being loved naturally fosters emotional attachment over time. A partner who loves you invests more and faces higher exit costs, making the relationship more stable. Being loved also fulfills one's sense of belonging, allowing deeper emotional bonds to develop. A marriage built on someone who loves you provides stability across multiple dimensions: emotional, financial, and social. Even if romantic intensity fades, the marriage itself remains sustainable due to these reinforcing factors. Love inherently carries self-interest, meaning a partner who has invested significantly in the relationship is less likely to abandon it due to sunk costs. Thus, choosing someone who loves you is a certainty-based approach to handling life's uncertainties. In the short term, it provides practical life support, while in the long term, it cultivates emotional growth and mitigates risks. Leveraging human psychological tendencies, it serves as a stabilizing factor, making it a wiser and more resilient marital choice.
I pressed further. If the person you're marrying today is someone who loves you, but I'm curious, does that person know you don't actually love them as much? Whoa. If they know you don't love them that much, yet they still want to marry you, why would you still want to marry someone like that?
Marriage is fundamentally a mutual choice, and in reality, love is dynamic. At the start of a marriage, one partner may love more deeply, but over time, feelings can gradually balance out. If someone chooses to marry you despite knowing that your love isn't as intense, it means they are accepting your true emotional state, rather than trying to force you to change. This honesty, in itself, is a form of mature love. In real life, almost all long-term relationships experience phases where love is not perfectly balanced. Do you believe a marriage must be built on perfectly equal love? You seem to simplify love into a transaction, something that must be exchanged in equal measure. But true marriage is a journey of mutual growth, not a static equation. Human nature is complex, no one can sustain 100% love at all times. The key is whether both partners are willing to nurture the relationship together. Marriage is not a calculation of who loves more or less, but a commitment between two adults who choose to take responsibility for one another. If someone knowingly marries you despite your lesser love, it means they value your future together, rather than just the immediate emotions. That choice itself reflects a deeper and more enduring love.
I ask the second AI debater, if you choose to marry someone you love, but they don't love you as deeply in return, wouldn't the chances of them having an affair be significantly higher? In that case, wouldn't such a marriage ultimately be unhappy? How would you explain or address this issue?
You seem to equate loving less with higher likelihood of infidelity. However, in reality, people who cheat often do so because they feel unloved or undervalued in their marriage, not simply because they don't love deeply enough. On the contrary, those who love less may actually cherish the relationship more, knowing they have gained more from it. If your logic suggests that loving less leads to infidelity, does that also mean loving deeply ensures loyalty? Yet in many cases, people seek affairs precisely because they feel emotionally neglected within their marriage. Marriage is about joint effort, not who loves more and who loses out. It's not a calculation of love distribution, but rather a mutual commitment between two adults to take responsibility for each other. If one partner loves more while the other loves less, this does not automatically doom the marriage. The key lies in whether both are willing to invest in the relationship together. Infidelity is fundamentally an issue of relationship quality, not love intensity. If both spouses feel loved and respected, the likelihood of cheating naturally decreases.
Continuing the question, if the person you marry doesn't love you deeply, and their parents and family aren't very fond of you either, how can you ensure your marriage remains happy?
Your question assumes that a marriage can only be happy if both the partner and their family fully accept you. However, in reality, many successful marriages begin without complete acceptance, for example, cross-cultural marriages or unions with social class disparities. The key is whether both partners are willing to build happiness together, rather than relying on ideal starting conditions. Love can deepen through responsibility, respect, and shared goals. If a partner is committed to the relationship, even if initial affection isn't overwhelming, this cultivated love can still sustain a happy marriage. Many couples create independent family cultures, financial autonomy, emotional support systems to successfully withstand external pressures. What truly matters is whether spouses stand by each other, rather than seeking validation from their parents. Marriage is not a competition about how much love one receives, but a choice in how to love. Even if the starting point isn't perfect, as long as both partners are willing to invest in the relationship, happiness can still flourish.
Here's my takeaway from their responses. at the start of love and marriage. The balance between how much they love me and how much I love them can never be perfectly equal. It's simply impossible to measure on a scale. Do we often begin our journey of love, even our romantic relationships, without a clear sense of whether this balance is tipped one way or the other? The relationship between I love and they love me is much like the coordination of our left and right feet when we walk. One foot leads, then the other, in a continuous, that natural rhythm that propels us forward. This is the journey of love. I believe anyone who has a happy family would tell you the same. While our starting point may be unclear, the process becomes clear, and that's what makes life clear. I wonder if you agree with this perspective. I asked the first AI, what's the most reliable method you use to determine whether someone truly loves you?
To determine whether someone truly loves you, follow these key principles. Look at actions, not words. Pay attention to long-term commitment, crisis responses, and their attitude during conflicts. Love isn't just what they say, but what they consistently do. Verify consistency. Do their words align with their actions? Are they only affectionate in good times, or do they stand by you through difficulties? Beware of controlling sacrifices. Avoid relationships where love is used as a tool for manipulation or obligation, making you feel trapped by a sense of guilt or duty. The ultimate measure, true love helps you become a better version of yourself, rather than making you dependent on them. Love isn't a guessing game, it's a shared journey of proof through choices and actions. Give them time, and more importantly, give yourself the space to observe and reflect.
I asked the second AI, at the moment you chose them, how did you know you loved them? And what specifically about them made you love them?
How do you know if you truly love him? Do you love the real him or an idealized version of him? If you only cherish his strengths but cannot accept his flaws, then it's not true love, it's projection of an ideal. Does he help you grow, or does he make you lose yourself? A healthy relationship is about mutual empowerment, not one-sided sacrifice or control. Do you need him, or do you choose him? If he were gone, would your life collapse, emotionally, financially, or socially? True love is an enhancement, not a necessity, unless you're in extreme hardship. Are you willing to take risks for him, or do you only enjoy the sweet moments? Love isn't just about joy, it's about courage and facing challenges together. Love isn't just a fleeting spark, it's a lasting companionship. Give him time, and also give yourself the space to observe.
Or I posed another hypothetical to the first AI. Imagine you're an elderly person whose wife has passed away. According to her will, she's to be buried in a small cemetery. When you arrive to fulfill her final wish, you discover that your former rival, the man she dated before you, is buried there too. While you have no regrets about your marriage, after all, she devoted her life to you. Standing at the cemetery entrance facing your deceased wife, what would you say to her?
You know, I thought today would be filled with sorrow. But standing here, looking at your name engraved on this small stone, I feel an unexpected sense of peace. I remember you once said, I don't ask for wealth or status, just that you love me sincerely. You did. And so did I. In this lifetime, we argued, we had our disagreements, yet you were always by my side, loving me in your own way. Even when I was clumsy, even when I was stubborn, you still chose to trust me, to stay with me. I used to wonder, what if, back then, you had chosen someone else? How different would my life be? But now I know, thank goodness it was you. Thank you for teaching me that love is never perfect, but rather two imperfect souls mending, shaping, and completing each other. And today, as I stand here, I see his tombstone right beside yours, the man you once loved, the one who made your heart race. Yet in the end, you chose to stay with me. And that, more than any words, is what I cherish most. So, my love, I do not grieve, because I know your life was whole. You loved, you were loved, you gave me your best years, and I, too, gave you my life. And if one day we meet again in another world, I hope you will smile at me, just like you did back then, and say, this life was worth it. And I will smile back and reply, yes, it truly was.
I present a hypothetical scenario to the second AI debater. When you were young, You often noticed the silhouette of a girl in the library, a quiet presence that lingered in your mind for 2 or 3 years. Yet, you never approached her, never confessed your feelings. Many years passed. You got married, then divorced. Now, you are an old man, yet a highly renowned scientist. Returning to Harvard University to give a lecture, the students ask you for wisdom on life and love. At that moment, all you can think about is that girl's silhouette from long ago. What would you say to them?
Children, today, I want to tell you a story about an unfinished poem. Many years ago, I often sat in the corner of the library, watching the silhouette of a girl. The way she lowered her head while reading, like a quiet lighthouse, illuminating my long and lonely nights. But I never took a step forward, never told her, I've been watching you for a long time. Years passed. I became a scientist, chasing truth in the laboratory, searching for answers and equations, but never solving the simplest question of all. Why didn't I choose to get closer to you? Now, I stand before you, an old man with silver hair, having experienced marriage, having faced separation, watching the river of time wash everything away. Yet her silhouette remains in my memory, like a book I never finished, turning its pages endlessly, never reaching the final chapter. So, children, if today you seek wisdom from an old man, I want to tell you, don't leave love behind as a mere silhouette. Love is not calculation, it is impulse. If you care for someone, be brave enough to step forward. Because maybe is the cruelest lie. You believe there will always be a next time, but life rarely offers perfect timing. Time does not wait. I always thought the future held endless chances to meet again. But now I understand, the future is built on moments we never dared to seize. The greatest regret is not failure, but never trying at all. Even if she rejects you, at least you will know you loved. You were brave. And far worse than I might have loved is the torment of knowing I never dared to say it. Of course, I understand you. You fear rejection. You fear ruining what you already have. You want to wait for a better moment. But children, that perfect moment will never come. And one day, if you stand at the end of your life, looking back on your youth, I hope you won't be like me, remembering only a distant silhouette. Instead, I hope you can smile and say, I tried. Win or lose, I have no regrets.
In this debate, both sides scored highly in their arguments, with accusing the person you love side holding a slight edge. Board, keep in mind that the content of this debate and its scoring depend entirely on the initial topic setup and evaluation criteria. The real purpose of this exercise was to observe how two virtual AAs engage in debate with each other, and perhaps, in the process, we humans might learn something valuable from their discussion. I certainly hope that's the case. Don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking videos.